That's called the Burj Khalifa. That's the world's tallest building. And if you were to lay it on its side and run from the base to the tip, it's about a half a mile. Think about that. That is like absolutely humongous. If you've ever been in Chicago and you've seen what they call the Willis Tower now, the Willis Tower would come about to here. It's about half the size. So this is like running 2 laps on a track, and the fastest human being could do it in like a minute 40, minute 30. At full sprint, they could run. But think about that. That's tall. And if you're the guy that's in charge of building that, you know what you're going to use to build it? You're going to use steel. Because steel, you can bend it, you can shape it, it's strong. There's lots of ways you can attach steel to steel. And so you're going to use that, right? It makes sense. You couldn't use much else because it becomes too expensive. Titanium would be the best, but you just can't. It's light, really strong, but just too expensive. Now, why do I show you the picture of that? It's because of this. Where we use steel in our buildings, we got to use carbon for living things. Now, we talked about there were 24 elements in the human body. Right? We went through it and I said, 60 pounds of you is oxygen. Right? And then 18 pounds of you, 18% of you, if you weigh 100 pounds, there's going to be 18 pounds of carbon. Carbon is by far the most important thing to living things, the element. The one element that's got the most in a living thing. As far as we know, if we ever find another living thing on another planet, it's probably going to be made of carbon. Here's why. You see the dots? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 places where carbon likes to stick to other carbons. It likes to bond. Okay? Or it's got these 4 places where it can bond to other elements. Matter of fact, carbon is the one element that can bond to the most other things on that chart. And that makes it really, really versatile. And it's very strong. Think about a diamond, hardest substance on the planet. A diamond, pure carbon. We can take dogs now and we can cremate our pets, Fluffy, and if we want to keep them, we can have those ashes squeezed into diamonds. Right? Really strong. Now, here's another cool thing. Look at this. It can make chains, rings, and branches. See how it branches? And because of that, it's like steel. When you make a building, it becomes really versatile. So that's why carbon is like the basis. Okay? Easy. Test question, guarantee it. Any questions on carbon? Remember, it can bond with itself and more of those elements than anything. Rings, chains, branches. Okay, next thing. Monomers. Now, you guys, we made the poster last week. Pretty good. Now, big word in biology. Big word, you break it, right? What's mono mean? One, right? We think we know that. Mers, or mer, means unit. So a monomer is one unit. One unit. And everybody, I think, did a pretty good job. And so most of you found a picture like this that you could put on a poster. The one thing I want you to remember, monomers, not only are they small units, single units, one unit, think of that as a chain. See, I got that little chain link right there? Think of a monomer in biology as an organic little chain link that helps make us. Pretty easy. And it's just one link in the chain. Now, polymer. You know what poly means? If I say, yeah, there's more than one, it means many, right? Have you ever heard polytheistic? That means that if you're ever in like a government class or sociology and they say polytheistic, that means they worship many gods. But poly just means many. And then mer, units. Don't make biology any tougher than it really has to be. Now, if I say micro versus macro, which one means small? Micro. If you're like in a microscope, you're looking at really small things. A polymer, if you ever hear in biology say macromolecule, it's just macro means large, so it's a large molecule. That's what a polymer is. Same thing. Same thing. Except in biology, once you get this concept, they start using this one a lot. And so very rarely will you hear this. This is usually an introductory, like right now, you're being taught like at honors level. So a polymer or a macromolecule, just a long chain of repeating 1 units. All right? A repeating chain of 1 units. And then there's that picture, you probably remember it. But the way I like to show you, look at the chain. This is a monomer. This is a monomer, 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 monomer. I remember my college professor started talking about monomers and polymers. My high school teacher didn't talk about that, and I was like, what in the world is she talking? That's like a different language. But that's not. This is a polymer. So think of a polymer as a long chain, a monomer as 1 link in the chain. It's that easy. All right. Now, have you ever heard of carbohydrates? Yeah. Okay, that's an organic molecule. Have you ever heard of proteins? Yeah. Okay, there's another one. Okay, have you ever heard of lipids?
What? Yes.
There's 3. Now, the one people don't usually hear about are nucleic acids, and here you've been getting exposed to that a little bit. So there's 4 organic molecules. Okay, organic means, and I'll tell you here in a second, but they all are made up of different monomers. Check this out. We're going to do carbohydrates, and we're going to stop. Okay, carbohydrates. Remember when I think it was like the first week I said CHO. You remember that? And I made a big deal out of it. It's kind of stupid. I was walking around going CHO, CHO, CHO. And I'll tell you later what we're doing. Look at this. CHO, CHO. Carbohydrates, the only thing that they're made out of, element carbon, element hydrogen, element oxygen. So if some of you ever go into college biology, most won't. Matter of fact, most of you right now, this is the only time in your life you're ever going to worry about biology. But some of you are going to go to college and go into biology. And when you think of carbohydrates, it's going to automatically come to your head. CHO, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. That's all it's in it. Nothing else. If it has CHO, it is organic. It is organic. Okay. CHO. This is easy to get confused with lipids. I can tell you now. Carbohydrates, spaghetti, bread, paper. It's carbohydrates. This is where we get all of our energy. This is the main source of our energy. The main source. That's the whole idea behind carbohydrates. Can we get too much? Oh, absolutely. We can get too much. Can we get too little? Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Got to have just a nice medium. So carbohydrates, carbs, the main source of energy. Now, there's that funky word, saccharide. I don't get it. Some people must have sat in a room and said, hey, how can we torture high school biology people and teachers for the rest of their lives? Bless you. Saccharide is just a fancy word for sugar. Like we like to eat. Sugar. Okay? And so when you see monosaccharide, oh, big word. What's mono mean? One. What's saccharide mean? So monosaccharide just means 1 sugar. See where it says simple sugar? Is it 1 simple? Yeah. 1 is simple. Monosaccharide just means 1 sugar. Okay? Now, a monosaccharide is the monomer for carbohydrates. A monosaccharide, 1 sugar, all carbs That's that little chain link in the organic molecule, the big molecule on it, right? That's the monomer of carbs. It's not going to be the same for the others. Monosaccharides are just for carbs. And remember, carbs are energy. Carbs are energy. Look at that. Oh.
I think enough for now.
Picture yourself as a kindergarten teacher, and you give your kindergartners each a big bag of M&Ms, and you let them eat them. They are going to go wild. You'll never do it again. I promise you. You might even hang yourself. You'll probably quit your job. They will just be bouncing off the walls, because this is simple sugar. This is quick energy. Our bodies can break it down quick. Break down quick and get it. My cross-country coach gave every one of the runners a chocolate bar because he heard it was quick energy. 20 minutes before the race started, because that's what it takes, about 20 minutes to get in your system. Everybody ate their candy bar, took off like crazy, died halfway through, because when you hit a sugar high, what do? You get a crash. Had people throwing up. He never did that again. I've never even thought about that. But simple sugars, Reese cups, that's my favorite. Right there, loaded with sugar. Yeah.
I also have a joke related to this.
What is it?
What do runners eat before a race?
What do they?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Nothing. They
We,
fast.
we have to eat stuff that is not big, otherwise we will
Wow.
throw up.
What they usually, some people eat like a little bowl of oatmeal, toast, but you don't want to run around with junk in your trunk. Okay, now check out this. I just want you to check it out. Don't draw it, because look at that. Look. Monomer. Right? See what I'm doing? Here's a monomer. Is this the same thing? Look at the structure. It's a little different, isn't it? And this is a monomer. But when you put them together, they make a polymer. Now be with me. Right now, you guys have had breakfast. This is what your body's taking your food and turning it into, glucose. If you ever eat an apple or an orange, it's full of fructose. But if you put these together, something really wicked happens right here, and they hook together. If you put those two together, you get sucrose. I'll give anybody an extra credit dollar if you can tell me what sucrose is.
Artificial sweetener.
What is it?
Artificial sweetener.
No. Come on. Think about it. It's a sugar. You know how you know it's a sugar? O-S-E at the end. Any takers? You guys all like it.
Natural sugar.
Natural sugar. That's your table sugar. That's the white crystals that you put in cereal or put on fruit or whatever. That's what it looks like. Okay? Technically this is called a disaccharide, but just because it's two. Okay, here's the one. Last thing. Complex sugars. So these aren't simple anymore. Polysaccharides, many sugars. Starch. My wife uses starch sometimes to make gravy. Very nice. It's very good. It thickens it up. But you can get starch out of corn. Get starch out of this. It used to be, we used to think that cross-country runners, you had to eat your spaghetti the night before a race. That's not the way it works. It takes your body a long time to get the energy from it. So you have to eat it 2 days. So if you got a football game, eat spaghetti 2 days before. That way about race time, you guys, you're getting the energy from it. And then potatoes. Starch, full of starch. Okay, complex. Now think about it. Big long chains of monomers. Big long chains. If I gave you, I brought in a chain, and then I gave you a cutter, and the chain was only 2 lengths long, and I said, hey, cut the chain in half. How long would it take you?
Forever.
Not probably too long.
Well, it depends on what the chain's made
But
out
what
of.
if the chain was really long? I said, I want you to cut the lengths up. It's going to take you a while, right? Check out this picture. This is paper. This is paper. Monomer. Pay attention. Monomer. Monomer. See what's happening? Look how big that is. That's huge. You guys ever eat paper when you were in middle school?
I eat paper now.
Or I don't doubt it. We can't get energy from paper because look, it's too much. Our body can't break it down. You know the only animal that I know of that can eat paper and get energy from it? No, goats.
Goats.
Don't goats have like 4 stomachs? They're the only ones. And so paper is made of cellulose. Cellulose is a carbohydrate, but we can't eat it. That's why you don't have paper on the menu. But there's a lot of energy in paper. Because remember, there's energy here, 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 here. Okay, any questions?